Hey, hi there. Hey, YouTubers, hi there. Have you ever read the Book of Mormon? This is just a quick story. A story about when I was in a band. No, I just ditched me corny Mormon accent there, like. But I just thought I'd come on and do a little witty story. I know the sound quality is not going to be too good because of my webcam and its terrible microphone. But it's a quick story. One of the reasons I don't go around trying to get into bands and things, you know, I normally record on my own and do solo recordings. And it's because of the last band I was in, and they were called Stealth. Really shitty, naff name for a band. Stealth. And we used to rehearse in Liverpool. Only did a few rehearsals with them, but I sacked it because the routine was we'd be like, you know, in the rehearsal rooms in a place in Liverpool, you used to do like 3 hours rehearsal time, and that was assuming you had a load of songs to sing, you know, a set of songs, a set of material. And they didn't want any of my songs, or didn't want to work with any of my material, and I had loads of songs written when we got together, and I just sang. I didn't play the guitar or anything. There was a guitarist there who thought he was Brian May, and you know, they were all like they just wanted me to sing basically, and I wasn't really into it because you know, I don't like singing without a guitar. I like playing my guitar, you know, right? I'm a guitarist more than a singer. But anyway, I joined this band. We formed this band called Stealth in Liverpool, and they didn't have any songs written. They did a cover of Separate Ways by Journey, which was quite, you know, because I was into Journey, you know what I mean. I'm into Journey. I'm a Neil Schon fan. I didn't mind doing the Journey cover, you know. So I used to pull that off like no problems. And then they want to do Freebird by Lynyrd Skynyrd, which I wasn't really into myself. It's, you know, some songs you don't really have to do a rehash of because they're good enough as they stand, as the originals, yeah. So they'd have this thing, right, and now think about it, every rehearsal was 3 hours long, right. That's how you used to book the rehearsals, and 3 hours is a long time in a rehearsal room. I don't know if anyone out there has ever done rehearsals, and it can be quite tedious, you know, when when you're in a room and you're just trying to get things together and that, like, especially when you've got no bloody songs, right. So we do this, like, Journey cover, and then they do, like, Lynyrd Skynyrd thing, and I didn't want to do that because I don't like singing other people's songs as a rule. And I had a load of songs ready saying, yeah, hey, we can start learning these tunes if you want to, like, you know, but they were like, no, no. And the thing was, right, the keyboard player of the band, I found out while we were rehearsing, like, he was a Mormon. He was a Mormon, you know, the horrible, dodgy, phony Jesus American religion, Mormonism from America. And he was supposed to be a Scouser and that, like, as far as I knew, he was from Liverpool, a lad playing the keyboards, like. Well, he was quite a good keyboard player, I'll give him that, you know what I mean? He'd play like a pianist, like sort of classical, so, you know, he was quite apt, quite skillful on the keyboards, but he was full of himself because of it, do you understand? He had a mad attitude, right? And he'd go around the room, he'd go around the rehearsal room, he wanted to play everything, he'd like, I'll play the bass this time, I'll play the drums this time, I'll play the guitar this time. He was going around the room like a knobhead, wanting to play everything, like, and I sort of wrecked my head, you know. I did a few rehearsals with them, and by the time I'd got through like the fourth or fifth rehearsal, I was thinking, I'm gonna sack this fucking band, this shit. You know, I don't normally do that, like, but in this case, I just had to fucking leave them, they were shit, right. But the thing was, right, you'd have like 3 hour rehearsals, right, and they did 2 covers, and then they had one song that we sort of co-wrote, that the keyboard player, the Mormon keyboard player that put together musically, and that was shit, right? I didn't say nothing at the time. I just thought, you know, 'cause you think the things are going to materialise over time when you're in a room with a band, don't you? You know what I mean? But this Mormon keyboard player, man, he just got under me skin. For start, I mean, I was a believer in God at the time. I knew what the Holy Spirit was about. And I knew this guy was just full of himself, because he'd obviously read the Book of Mormon and it was in his head. So he was obviously full of like a false Jesus and a load of false doctrine as well. But anyway, the thing was, right, when they used to book rehearsals, you know, you have a 3-hour slot. They wouldn't book a 3-hour slot rehearsal. They kept booking double, what we call back-to-back, double time. So there was 6 hours of my time in this room with these guys that didn't have any songs written. You know, that's a long time to be in a room with no songs. And I was like, why are they diverting me all this? Every Saturday afternoon I'd have to show up for this amount of time. I won't say the number again, because people will start thinking I'm being you know, satanic or something like. But I think the guitarist was a bit of a Satanist anyway, or something like that anyway. But and I knew him from the past, like from, you know, he'd worked with me, and you know, it didn't work out, and I sacked up that band as well, basically, like, and started afresh, you know, on my own, like. But we go in this rehearsal room for double booking time, like, you know, 3 hours times 2 every time we rehearsed. And I was like thinking, what the hell are they doing? It was like they were keeping me out of my house. You know, so they, no one, you know, when what they call time wasters in the music biz, or you know, when you go rehearsing, they say time wasters. They were the ultimate time wasters. They keep me in this rehearsal room for 2 times 3 hours, guys, every Saturday, with 3 songs to sing, right? And I just sat there thinking, what the fuck are they playing at? But this is the mad story. This is a comical story attached to this band, you know, about the Mormon keyboard player. He was absolutely full of himself, guys. He thought of himself like Mozart or something, or you know, that kind, you know, like a musical genius kind of thing. Yeah. And he got under my skin so much, I just sacked him. I didn't even phone them or tell him I wasn't going to show up anymore. I just sacked the band. Like, I just thought, I am not hanging around with these guys any longer. Another 2 times 3 hours, no chance. But anyway, there was this week where, like, we were getting it together and that with our 3 songs. And I just sat quietly. I didn't try taking command, or, you know, because usually I'm used to being the front man in charge of the band, and I've got all the songs written, and you know, the musicians I've worked with usually want to do it, like, you know what I mean? So I'm sitting there, like, not saying anything, thinking, what are these guys up to, man? And the guitarist guy who I knew, who I was familiar with, he said, oh, by the way, guys, next week, you know, dress in appropriate clothing, because we've got a photographer coming in to take some band photos for publicity pictures or posters and things. Should we do any gigs and that with the 3 songs or whatever? And I've never, if anyone knows me from the past, I've been in like heavy metal band and that kind of thing, and I refuse to dress up on stage, guys. I just wear a t-shirt and jeans, or you know, sweatshirts. I just dress like I'd wear this, for example, on stage if I was doing a gig tonight. Like, I'd just dress the way I'm dressed. I've never dressed up for a gig in my life, guys, you know, intentionally to look like a superstar or anything. Anyone that knows me out there who's worked with me will know that's you know, the truth. I never have the ego or do me hair, or you know, like you know, Alice Cooper makeup or anything like that. So anyway, this guy says next week in the rehearsal, 2 times 3 hours, everyone, you know, make an effort to like an image in that, because we got this photographer coming in who's going to take pictures of us, and he's a professional photographer, but he's going to do it for nothing, kind of thing, like. And I just looked at him and I said, I'm not dressing up, like, you know what I mean? And they were saying like, oh no, you've got to, like, and I was like, yeah, alright, whatever. So anyway, the following week I showed up dressed as I normally dressed, right, and they were all looking at me as if to say, you know, And then the keyboard player walked in, right, and every rehearsal we'd done before this, he normally wore like a leather jacket, a t-shirt, jeans or whatever, yeah. Well, he walks in, man, and he was dressed like, you know, MASH. You know, the American television show MASH, where they have like green army vest on and green, like olive green, like marine type pants and marine boots and you know, them green baseball caps that like people in the military wear, like Vietnam. Like when you see people in Vietnam and like a vest, like a military vest, like all green military commando type costume and a baseball cap at the top, like a military. So he looked like he just walked out of MASH basically, you know, because he was expecting it, and everyone else kind of had something a bit fancy on, but they didn't go overboard like the Mormon keyboard player did, like. So he walks in dressed as MASH, and I was like, throughout the rehearsal, I was just trying my best not to laugh, you know what I mean? Because I was thinking, oh my word, so you think we're going to fucking Vietnam or what? Like, what's this all about? I know the band was called Stealth, like, you know, but anyway, we're in the rehearsal room, sort of getting things like plugged in and all that kind of stuff, and the 2 times 3 hours passed, and the photographer never showed up. I don't know why, like, but he didn't even turn up. Like, the guy didn't turn up to take the photos. Like, but throughout that day, you know, throughout the 2 times 3 hours, I was just looking at this Mormon guy, this keyboard player, man, dressed like something out of MASH. I don't know what's his name in MASH, you know, the Hawkeye or whatever, like, or you know, like like something like what's that film called, man? Stanley Kubrick's film about Vietnam, you know. But anyway, I just think it's a funny story. I just thought I'd have to tell you, because like, he wouldn't have wore those clothes normally, you know what I mean? And then the week after, he obviously came in dressed like he usually did. But I just think it's a funny story. Like, anyway, I know some people might not think it's funny, but me personally, like, I think it's hilarious. Like, you know, this guy dressed like MASH, and the photographer didn't even show up, you know what I mean? And you could see his face and that, like, with his baseball cap, with his military spec, like US Marines in fucking Vietnam garb on, like, sort of having to go through the rest of the 2 times 3 hours, like, without photography showing up, like. I just wondering what people have to think about it, like, I don't know. I suppose it's irrelevant, really, but it's just one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my musical history, you know what I mean? So, anyway, thanks for watching. I'll cut off quickly in case my signal goes and the speech is all for nothing, like. But anyway, if you're watching out there, Johnny, the Mormon keyboard player, have you ever read the Book of Mormon? Have you ever been to Vietnam? That's for you, lad.